What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. Today we're going to go over my Memento deck profile that I ended up getting top 4 at the OTS Championship. I only actually lost to one person. It was Ethan. He was playing the Snake Eyes deck, the best deck of the format. I didn't open good game 3 at all in the top 4. I ended up opening up like Bone Party, Delta, and then a copy of Track. That was not, and then my 6th card was Gamma for, or not Gamma, but Driver for turn. I chose not to use the Delta during that last match because I didn't want to get talents. He ended up talenting me every game prior to that, so it was definitely not worth it. But I ended up doing quite well with this deck. I have changed it up a bit. It is the Fiendsmith version of the deck. I can mention to you guys what you guys can play other than the Fiendsmith stuff if you guys want to be playing on a budget. But it worked out quite well for me. So before we dive in, over like, comment, subscribe, and yeah. So we're starting off with the 3 Darkblade and the 3 Tachino Shigu, as well as the 2 Anguich. So with the Fiendsmith cards, we are cutting down on the Anguich. I definitely think that 2 is correct. I don't like the ratio people are playing of like the 3 Darkblade alongside the copy of the Rhoda. I feel like Rhoda definitely plays into the Droll, and while this deck does not get hit with Droll on most hands, you don't want to be adding that. As well as being able to add like the second Witch's name, like being able to add the Witch's name into the rotation, you know, having it in hand if you have other stuff. Kind of like facilitates you have more combos, especially if your board does get broken, or if you want to leave this in graveyard to be able to bring back out off of the combined creation, which is quite nice. Then Tachino Shigu is also obviously a really good card, you know, being one of your main starters. This card, like, is your Imperm, your Ash target. Everyone wants to hit this card. But you can also like tag this out with their copies of Bone Party, being able to summon out or the Fusion, using this and another card you have in hand to go up for the level 7. The level 7 has to then be destroyed by the Tachino Shigu. Then you have to search or dump like all the ones you want. You don't get to search off the copy of the level 7. That's not going to be not going to make much of a difference when you just shuffle it back later. Just depends on your hands. But yeah, and then Anguish's secondary effect can come up as well, being able to tag out. We're still playing a bunch of cards as well as the Engravers as a starter, so you know, not cutting down on the 9 cards, still being quite good. We're those like 12 card starters now. We still are on the 2 Sleepy and the 1 Gatic, the 1 Mace, the 1 Goblin, and the 1 Horned Dragon, and the 1 Combined Creation. So this is kind of your Memento package that are like the 1-ofs or higher. I know a lot of players are on the 1 Sleepy, and I think that definitely is a good option. I just really love keeping this in the hand. I love having this card. I don't know why, but it just really started really well for me. I find that a lot of the times, like, your opponent only suspects you to have 1, so they hit this out of the graveyard, like, okay, well, now he's on to less fusion, especially when people are only playing 2 of the fusion spells. But like, having this in hand never really hurts, especially if you want to like normal summon it out or summon it out off the copy of the Darkblade. Having the effect of fuse and having it in the hand for the next turn, they just don't expect it. It was kind of the same way I felt with the second Mace when I was playing Pure, but now that we're not playing Pure, we definitely cut down on the Mace and we play it that way. I don't think any other cards would ever be bumped up to 2 other than the copy of Sleepy. I know that Goblin, once the new Goblin cards come out in the next set, Rage of the Abyss, you can play multiple of this because you'll be having more ways to dodge Imperm by summoning with the Goblin, and Goblin itself is a combo. And just remember, this card is not a once per turn. It's not actually once per turn at all. It doesn't activate, it just happens. So it's just an inherit summon, air quotes. But it's just a condition to summon it out from the graveyard or from the hand. So you can do it as many times as you can for turn. Important when you play into Nib. Now we're playing for the Fiend stuff. We're still playing the 3 Engravers, the 1 Lurie. Not much I would change other than, you know, trying not to draw Lurie. I ended up drawing Lurie like 7 times yesterday, which definitely sucked, you know, especially when you want to normal summon it. But if you have like a way to get track, then, you know, being able to discard and search for the Engraver lets you have another combo completely, so which is really nice. It's just not also a horrible normal summon. It just kind of sucks if you want to have like another combo. Just important to note that if you are playing the Engraver stuff or you're playing the Bestials and the Nib in the main deck, what's really important to note is that like this card here, it does make the deck a little bit worse. So Engraver, Nib, and the Bestials make the deck a little bit worse because you have to then normal summon this. And if you are relying on normal summoning this card, and this is going to make it so that you 100% get Impermed, or you get Veilered, or you get Ashed on this 100% of the time. And then you just have nothing if you don't have a Bone Party and another Memento in the hand. So it's definitely important when you're playing against Memento or you're playing versus it. Like, you don't want to be using your Tachino Shigu as a normal summon. It just feels extremely bad and just like kind of leaves you with no options. But the Engraver stuff is just absolutely important. There were so many times where I would just start off with like an engraver by having a copy of Darkblade or having nothing else in the hand, going for the engraver line, you know, getting those hand traps, or getting hand trapped, or, you know, getting hand trapped on my Memento stuff and still being able to go into the engraver. Like if I ended up like normal summoning out the Angst Witch, getting the effect, hit with like a Veiler, or having an attached no Shigu, getting hit with Veiler, and then having an engraver in the hand, being able to send the engraver, get the track some Lurie, you know, being able to have 2 bodies on the field as well, lets me go into like these insane combos by a Goblin, being able to send, and then you get like your Beatrice, but then Beatrice comes into your spell, and that's like absolutely incredible how the deck works, and the way it works with Cross Sheep, which is nice. This Phoenix stuff definitely do pair with the deck really well. Now for hand drops, we are playing quite a bit. We are on 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm. Now we are on 2 Droll and 2, or I guess 1 Magnemite and 1 Jerusalem, and the 1 copy of Call with the Grave for a non-engine. So I really did want to play the copies of Talent in the deck. I think that I probably cut down on the Droll and Lockbirds for Talents, but I do really like Droll and Lockbird, especially in the mirror match, or if you're playing against like Snake Eyes. I didn't want to play Nibiru for the point I mentioned earlier. I didn't want to have like 3 Nibirus, 2 Bestials, the engravers, that I would kind of like clog my hand up and have to rely on normal summon with attached no Shigu as the effect. Because if you have one of those monsters on the field, you're not going to be able to get rid of it. So I ended up playing this ratio. Not much I can say. A lot of it worked out really well. Droll was really good against a U-Bell deck. Shout out to Thomas. He ended up losing twice, which is like, it's really hard. They had the first time like had to call with the grave for the Droll, which was good, but it's like at that point, you know, drawing the out is just really hard. The U-Bell matchup is actually really bad for this deck as well, because, you know, they can just add on stuff, and being able to change your effects to like destroy one of their stuff, this definitely hurts. And like going second, you can't really break their board because they set up a huge board. Like the fact that Necroquip is a card for them is just insane. But not much that we can really do. So we had to play like the Bestial and the Jerusalem for that matchup in particular as well. There's just like a bunch of rogue matchups that hurt this deck as well. Chimera is a good matchup against it. You know, now our cards do like when they get popped, but only when we get to pop them. So, you know, being able to pop it, you know, if you have the spell, it's going to work out quite well. You do have the bone parties to avoid it, but like it's just able to snowball so much, and then you end up losing. Same thing with Mimigul, like being able to just lose our stuff, being flipped face down, makes this really hard to be able to play the game, to be honest. But this is really for non-engine. I felt that like Droll was really good. A lot of the time I just found myself siding it out, other than against that U-Bell player. But it is what it is. Like Ash, Veiler, Imperm, all pretty mandatory, I feel like, in the deck. I just wish I could fit in Talents as well, because that card's just absolutely crazy. Now for the consistency cards, we're playing the 3 Bone Party, 2 copies of Memento Fusion, the 1 Memento City, and the Track and the Trap. I am cutting down on the Memento Fusions, like I mentioned earlier, because we're playing less of the Fusion cards. I wish I could play 3 of it and still play 2 of the copy of the Twin Dragon, but we cannot. Memento City is just insane. Track is obviously part of the Phoenix stuff, and I've been playing the Trap. I think this is absolutely correct to play. You need to play this. You want to end on a good board. And being able to have this set up makes it so you don't lose the talents just as often, because you can like negate some stuff on the field, which is not amazing versus Snake Eye, but it can be when their board's not the greatest, as well as it's good against like the U-Bell, it's good against Rescue Ace, it's good against Melodious, it's good against like a bunch of the rogue matchups as well, where this card you can just shine, being able to negate like 5 cards, or like 3 monsters to just get you so much, and then you can actually like use a Sleepy to fuse up into another copy of the combined creation, or if you have this on the field already, you can use the effect of pop and like pop 2 cards once you already gotten rid of like 3 negate, which is quite nice, and then being able to bring it back out next turn just feels incredible. That's it for the main deck. I believe it's 41 cards, and now moving on to the extra deck. We're playing the 2 Creation King here. Very mandatory to play 2 of it. If you're playing 3, you're probably playing Pure. 1 copy of Twin Dragon. Now, I know this seems very, very bad. I completely agree, but you always have to put this card back. Playing 1 of it makes it so that any Bestial, I guess, they're not going to hit this with the copy of DD Crow. But any Bestials that you're able to hit this card just feels amazing on the hit. The problem is that we don't have Urban in the extra deck. I have thought about cutting the Moon because I didn't really touch it. But in other cases, like if you get hit with an Imperm or a Veiler on your copy of Patch Nushigu and you don't have an Engraver in hand, it lets you get to access to the full Fiendsmith combo. So that's why it's in the deck. It just like this is the card I would add if I had a 16th card extra deck. Unfortunately, I just do not. So we're only playing 1 of it. Now for the Fiends and stuff, we were playing the 1 Requiem, the 1 Sequence, the 1 Lacrima, and the 1 Moon, Necroquip, and the Eater. So we're playing almost everything. We're not playing a Desiree. Once again, we can't fit it in. I don't think we can actually make it consistently either. So that's where we're doing it. These are your flex spots. You have to play Necroquip because Engraver then becomes a 1-card combo. And same thing with Aerial Eater. Aerial Eater pairs really well with the deck by being able to send the copy here of the Goblin. And then Goblin lets you actually, well, once you go into that, you can then go into the copy of Cross Sheep, which can bring back the Goblin. Goblin can then trigger to destroy itself, to be able to send 2 cards, and then normally you send a spell, and then spell can destroy one of your stuff, and then being able to like get full combo by searching for the fusion spell off itself, and then you can fuse, putting back your 2 cards, destroying the copy of Twin. Twin gets searched for 2 more cards, and if you have it normal summon, then you're doing quite well. But Mace is really good. I definitely could make a combo video for you guys as well, an updated combo video with the Feastmas stuff. Being able to like utilize this card feels absolutely crazy. Like I mentioned earlier, Moon's the flex spot that you can play. I want to play 2 Twin, but I understand the requirements of needing it if you get hit with an Imperm on your copy of your Tachinoshigu. And then for our level 6s, we are playing the Caesar as well as the Beatrice. Caesar is absolutely incredible. It comes up with the FTK board where they just really cannot beat it. And then Beatrice lets you go into your plays where you can send other cards if you can't get into like the Memento stuff. Being able to send the copy of the spell can then destroy the copy of Beatrice. That's something that you search. And then you can just play out through there, which is quite nice as long as you have any Mementos engraved, which normally you do. And then if you don't, you can just send the cards from your hand because you have Memento cards in your hand if you're bricking. But that's it for like the Fiendsmith stuff. Now for the regular part of the deck, we are playing the Memento Cross Sheep here. This helps you bring out your stuff. It does feel really weird a lot of the times. You can like end on this if you don't want to go for the moon, and then you can like summon out, like I think versus Snake Eyes, I ended up ending on this game 2 because I misplayed. That was versus Voice's Voice. I misplayed a little bit by not using my management or my resources correctly. So I ended on a Cross Sheep alongside the level, this guy here. And I was able to bring out, I think actually I brought out this guy to bring back the Anguish. The Anguish can let me search, and I can just get my stuff. Like, it doesn't always have to be the best board. As long as it's a good enough board, it can just help you out a lot. There's also a Caesar on the field. But yeah, Cross Sheep can come up multiple times, especially if you can just start looping it. Anytime Anguish is summoned, you just search a card for your deck. You can search for the Mace, you can search for the Sleepy, whatever you need. This feels really good. And then we are playing the 1 copy of the SP Little Knight. We are now finally on the Mirage. I actually now finally have this card, so I can go for it, which is really cool because you can just go this Cross Sheep plus the copy here of the Sleepy to go up into the Mirage, and then you actually have like different lines. You can also go with the Tachinoshigu, but chances are you're not going to be leaving this on the field to go up into that. But then, of course, your Mirage can negate a copy of Raigeki by sending the Mace. Now, I mentioned Raigeki because we are playing against Tenpai, and Tenpai's matchup is just horrible when they open up like Dark Ruler or Raigeki Droplets, not Dark Ruler. So you really want to be able to stop that, and being able to stop the Raigeki with the Mentolian Mace, discarding off the Herald, which you're normally going to have in hand anyways because you want to be able to search it so you can take their opponent monster. But just being able to have the Herald just definitely feels good. Negating a spell, it helps out a lot, especially when you don't want to end on your Cross Sheep and you have another copy of Sleepy that you can just summon out. Feels quite nice. Then SP Little Knight, and the final card is the Appaloosa. Now, I am playing the trap, so you definitely could not play Appaloosa if you wanted to, but sometimes you just have so many resources, you can just go for an Appaloosa, have that monster negate, and like have the trap, so you can use it for like the monsters on the field, and then just for the hand and other stuff, or the graveyard. Can help you out quite a bit. That's really it for the extra deck. Now for the side deck, it's going to be really quickly. I hate Tenpai. I respect Runic, and I hate Tenpai. Going second, I still hate Tenpai in my going first option. And then we are playing the Delta and the Gamma. This is really good against Tenpai because I hate Tenpai. You don't always use it, definitely if you're going second, you're going to be siding this in if you make them go first. But going first as well, you're never going to really see these cards. If you look at the X side deck, there is a lot of going second good cards, and this deck is actually insane going second. So if you want to like side these in, if you're playing it's like a kind of mid-tier deck like Rescue Ace, I made Rescue Ace go first game 3, and I didn't think about playing it like that at all. They had like mulch armies in their hand, and like it just made their cards significantly worse. I didn't draw anything other than an Ash Blossom, so it didn't really make that much of a difference anyways. They unfortunately passed to the Ash. Must have been playing like branded. But in retrospect, you know, you have a bunch of hand traps that are high impact. Being able to hit like an Ash or a Veiler on one of their important cards, then they have one of those good spells. Being able to hit that and leaving them like on a suboptimal board, this deck can like easily OTK with like 2 bodies. Like being able to summon with the Creation King. The Creation King can also inflict piercing battle damage with the Bone Party. And then like being able to summon out this. If you have like these 2 on the field alongside another body, you can like you can attack into a small body, make it inflict piercing battle damage by banishing this, or just having the effect you can like target, like this can attack and then activate the effect, pop a card, and then this can attack, and if you have like monsters in defense position like Mimikul normally does, you can actually like inflict piercing battle damage as well as attack multiple times if it's the only monster on the field. So you being able to pop the cards and then being able to attack multiple times just can get you into the easily OTK line. While like this deck can set up a really good going first board, it's easy to OTK as well, so it feels quite nice being able to do that with the Horned Dragon and stuff like that, being able to pop. This feels kind of crazy. But that's really it for the side deck and the deck. If you guys want to be seeing the combo video, let me know in the comment section down below. I might be doing like an in-depth guide to Memento, regardless, so that people can know how the deck really works. But if you guys enjoyed watching the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one. Stay safe. Peace.